Today, in northern Colorado, we have a vibrant community full of resources and services supporting children and families in need. We also have a comprehensive array of resources for youth and young adults in our community, including a youth shelter. But that hasn't always been the case.
Back in 2005, it became apparent there was a significant amount of youth aging out of foster care and the juvenile justice system who were expected to live on their own but didn't have the life skills and caring adults to be successful. Mid-2005, nonprofit status was obtained, a home in Old Town was purchased, and Sarah Mitchell, a licensed clinical social worker, joined the endeavor. In the following years, it was an absolute blessing to provide resources, life skills, and most importantly, caring relationships for youth to move into adulthood successfully.
In 2007, the Matthews House focused on developing our relationships with our community partners and government organizations, particularly the Department of Human Services and the Chafee program, which allowed us to serve even more youth. Being a transition facilitator at the Matthews House was about so much more than just providing case management services. It was driven by relationship. We got to know young people for who they were as individuals, met them where they were at, worked together to determine their goals. I think a big part of it removed the power dynamic so that youth had the voice and the space to identify their goals and create positive change in the context of that relationship.
Nicole and Kristen were my two number one sources with the Matthews House, and they helped me so much with filling out tax forms, with doing insurance, like doing all those life skills that when you're in foster care you kind of lack. You don't have that important person to teach you those things, and those two definitely stepped up with one-on-one meetings with me to teach me all those things. I made it out. I'm now an adult and I have a kiddo and I'm a sales manager. It's crazy to think that I went through everything that I did with foster care and the Matthews House and DHS to be where I'm at today. I'm very fortunate. How would my life be without the Matthews House today? Not as bright as it is currently. Nicole was a very large part of my life and a big guidance, so to not have that sort of resources like the Matthews House or Kristen or that open line of communication 24/7, I don't think I'd be where I am at today. Definitely.
So we've been working with youth and seeing great progress, but we really wanted to not need to be doing that kind of work. We wanted to prevent youth from ending up in the tricky situations they were in. So in 2010, we moved into expanding our services to entire family units to allow them to access the same kind of resources and support that we were offering youth, in the hopes that that would prevent the need for our services in the future. It would allow families to move as a unit towards self-sufficiency and stability.
When I came to Matthews House, I had just moved here from Tennessee and I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any resources. It wasn't planned, and I was lucky enough to find Matthews House, and they helped me get housing. They made sure that myself and daughter had food and clothes, and just made sure that we had everything we need, and if we didn't, they put us in contact with whoever could help us. Thanks to the Matthews House, I no longer need help with a lot of the basic things that I did when I first moved here. If I need help, yes, I can ask, but most of the time I'm able to be completely self-sufficient in everything that I have going on for myself and daughter.
So I've seen firsthand what it's like for families when the community will come together to support them. The Matthews House has always helped families in our community build their life skills, but they took it a step further in 2012 when they opened the first Community Life Center. And this was a single location that families could access local services that would help them with their housing, their economic as well as their emotional needs, which gave us the opportunity to approach these families not just from a place of crisis intervention for them, but also to provide prevention and long-term stability to them. And that has really made a world of difference in our community and in those families' lives.
In 2014, we moved to Fort Collins, Colorado with my family. At that time, I only had one friend. So we are looking for English class. This is the reason that we found Matthew House. I remember at that time my family and I walking for 2 hours with the stroller, my toddler, my 6-year-old son, and my mom. I believe this was the best walking that my family and I done. Matthew House helped us to discover a world of opportunities that didn't know before. At that time, I remember Matthew House worked with a beautiful case manager, her called Brenda. Matthew House and Brenda helped my family and I to navigate for different resources. I am very grateful for all of the support, and Matthew House has helped us grow and make our life better in the United States.
In addition to opening our first Community Life Center, we expanded over the next decade to provide site-based support in partnership with Care Housing, the Loveland Housing Authority, and local school districts to ensure families and youth had access to resources where they live and learn. We also established an additional Community Life Center and continued meeting families and individuals across the community, bringing vital support directly to those who need it most.
Well, we have partnered with Matthew's House for the last 10 years, really from the very beginning of our church. We planted our church and had a desire to be hands-on in meeting the needs of people, and we discovered that Matthew's House was already doing a lot of the things we had talked about and doing it really well. And so rather than reinvent the wheel, we thought, what if we just developed a relationship with Matthew's House? And that led to us becoming a community life center so that they could serve people in our space, in our facility. And in the last 4 years, we have actually been able to office with their staff in the same space. And the relationships we've developed with them have truly been remarkable. They have an amazing staff that really cares about the people they serve. And we just feel honored to be one of their partners. We support them, believe in them, and are really grateful for all that they do through our space and through this whole community.
Yo estoy agradecida en haber recibido los recursos y los servicios proveídos por Matthew's House. En el tiempo que he estado en el programa, he podido ver cómo mi familia ha crecido. Ellos tienen más destreza para comunicarse. Yo puedo saber que cuento con el equipo. Tengo la confianza y he creado unos lazos de seguridad, como confianza con ellos. Y también hemos podido descansar un poco en apoyo financiero porque pues en mi caso hemos tenido situaciones difíciles, entonces he podido encontrar con la organización un soporte. O sea, mi familia está más confortable con esa ayuda, muy contentos, muy feliz de referirlo, de recomendarlo, de ser parte. Entonces, muy buen programa y muy agradecida con Matthew's House. Me siento muy feliz de ser facilitadora con Parents Café, el poder asistir a familias que cuando llegan con una necesidad y poder encontrar una asistencia, un soporte, que ellos tengan metas personales y familiares y al final de la temporada se puedan ver reflejados.
In 2025, we've come full circle with the opening of the landing. The first youth and young adult shelter opened in northern Colorado, a place of safety and security that is desperately needed. It is a space that is directly designed for youth and young adults, and so going into a space where you may be experiencing homelessness for the first time, you're not being asked to walk into an adult shelter. You're walking into a space that is there and designed to meet your specific needs. By providing a place where these youth can feel safe, seen, and supported, the Matthews House is able to provide an area for them to move towards independence.
My name is Ben, and I want to express how much the Matthews House has helped me out through some of the hardships that most of my generation is known for. Struggles with finding a job, getting a car, resources, living situations, and social connections. I grew up in foster care and lived in a total of 9 homes between the ages of 6 and 18. When I aged out, I started making bad choices, but then I got introduced to the Matthews House. They helped hold me accountable and gave me the resources necessary to be successful. People to talk to, an apartment, and food. 1 year ago, I could say that I wasn't doing the best. I was living in a motel room, no money and no car. I was introduced to drop-in services within the Matthews House, which helped me get the things that I needed. Now I have an apartment, a car, a job, but also people I could always reach out to, thanks to the Matthews House.
Over the last 20 years, we've seen the power of relationships in driving meaningful change. When a community comes together with a shared purpose, we create resilience, strength, and the opportunity for everyone to thrive. At the core of our work is the belief that lasting impact happens through connection, collaboration, and a commitment to one another. Together, we are building a stronger, more supportive community where everyone has the opportunity to succeed.